Hi there, we got there in the end. Alien Frontiers Expansion Pack 6. Now, as far as I'm aware, that's all that's available at present, but Expansion Pack 7 is going to be a reality. It's listed on the Game Salute website already. I think for pre-order. I may be wrong, it might be ready and for order. And that contains the promo cards that were given with the Outer Belt pre-order people that pre-ordered Outer Belt. Now, Expansion 6 has been a bit of a challenge for me in a little way because it predominantly is Outer Belt cards. So it contains 7 new Outer Belt cards, 3 new Alien Tech cards, 1 Outer Belt reference card and 1 new Agenda card. Well, I don't own Outer Belt. I will definitely get it. In the UK it's already up for pre-order at Games Law. So I've read the print. There's no official rules for Outer Belt on the Geek or on Game Salute or anywhere else, but there is the print and play rules from the Kickstarter. So I've had a good look through them, got myself familiar with the rules, and I must admit I'm extremely eager to play it. It plays really easy. It's very clever, and can't wait to get the Outer Belt. So for the purpose of this, I've done a mock-up of the Outer Belt, just on a couple of envelopes, so that I can demonstrate how the cards in this deck work. So here we go, Expansion Pack 6 for Alien Frontiers. Right, so we have the top deck card explaining what's in the deck, handy to keep in the box so you can sort it out at any time you want to back into the individual decks. Game setup, standard 4-player game with factions, and of course with this mock-up of the Outer Belt there. It's just a quick scribble. So first things first, we've got this Outer Belt facility card, and it explains about the Outer Belt. This is just flavour text here. Asteroids are always in motion. Don't worry if 1 or 2 good asteroids get away from you though. Remember, the Outer Belt is a ring around the planet, so the asteroids you miss this time round will be back in fullness of time. And that is true because the cards cycle round this asteroid belt here. It's very clever. There is 22 cards in the standard deck without these. I guess these are promos in here. So there's 22 cards will come with the Outer Belt expansion, if it's the same as what the PMP files say. 2 they get shuffled, the top 2 get put back in the box, and then 4 of them come out, so there'll be a deck of 16 at the top of the Asteroid Belt. The navigation die explains this. It's like a star with a circle in the middle. There's the asteroid die, and there's the little timer icon, which is hold, tap your card for the turn you get it, and then on the following turn you can use the card that you've attained off the asteroid card. So that one's hold for 1 full turn, and this one is bypass hold one full turn. So the territory bonus for controlling Blish Expanse is that the hold 1 turn icon does not apply to you. So on the asteroid belt here, there's a part of the moon would carry on a bit better than my scribble. There will be another one of these cards, but it will be Blish Expanse, and if you put your colonies on here, and even if they're contested and you get to control the colony, you get the Blish Expanse. Not only are you getting colonies out, which is obviously getting towards the end, the goal towards the end game, but the Blish Expanse will negate the having to hold the asteroid card till the following turn. Any cards, and most of them apparently have got this little egg timer on, and you have to keep them tapped till the following turn. If you hold the Blish Expanse tile, that does not apply to you, and you can use the cards immediately. So quite a good one to have, I think. Comes with an asteroid die. The asteroid die has got on 4 faces etched in. It's a nice brown die, and on 4 faces etched in is a picture of an asteroid, and on 2 faces it's blank. The faces that are blank, if when you roll it you get a blank, then the asteroid belt does not move. If you roll an asteroid, so you've got a 1 in 4 chance of rolling an asteroid, if you roll an asteroid then the asteroid belt moves, and we'll show how that works in a minute. We can do that on a standard D 1 to 6. If you roll a 5 or 6, the asteroid belt does not move. On a 1 to 4, it moves. It's something like a 67 point something % chance that the asteroid belt will move. And what you do on your turn, when you're playing with the outer belt, you have the asteroid, you have your own pool of ships, how many you've got out, and you roll the asteroid asteroid die at the same time. So that is how the cards move. So let's get through this deck first. So we got a faction agenda card, we got an in-game objective here. When you claim 2 asteroid cards on the same turn, you may reveal this card immediately and score 1 victory point. So on the same turn, you would have to get 2 asteroid cards out the 4, well maybe 4 face-up ones here. Okay, because there may not be 4 if some have been claimed. The end-game objective on this card is, if at the game's end you control the Blish Expanse, which is the new moon space on the asteroid belt, if you control the Blish Expanse, reveal this card and score 1 victory point. So there we go, quite good, it's themed to the outer belt. What else have we got here? Right, we've got 3 new superb alien tech cards. We've got the Tele Operator, and this is, if you pay 2 fuel to use a card, pay 2 fuel to use a card on display, on the alien tech display. So any of the 3 cards that are on display, you pay 2 fuel and you can use it. You don't get the card, but you can use its abilities as if it was your own. The regular usage costs of the card apply. Okay, victory point cards such as the Alien Monument, etc., are exempt from this, which of course they would have to be because you can only use it for that turn. Chosen card may not be discarded, so you just get to use the ability for paying 2 fuel. It's quite a unique, tasty card that, but the card stays there. Or you can discard this card to actually claim a card on display. And that card was inspired by Stephen Schultz and Daniel R. Nealon or Nalon. That's the Tele Operator. Lovely artwork, great card. Now we have the Scout Drone. Again, great artwork. Got this like big mushroom bit here and a ship flying past. Pay 1 fuel to look at the top 3 cards on the Alien Tech deck or the Asteroid deck. Replace the cards in any order. So that's pretty good. Just for 1 fuel, you can have a look at the top 3 cards on the Alien Tech or on the new Asteroid deck, which will be at the top of the outer belt. Or you can discard to move one of your landed colonies to an unoccupied territory. That's pretty good, isn't it? You know, on 1 turn you can just discard this and an unoccupied territory, so you're automatically going to gain control of that territory and get its bonus tile. So that's the Scout Drone, and that was inspired. That's inspired by W. David Mackenzie, the original founder of Clever Mojo Games, and Chris Schreiber. Okay, and then this final Alien Tech card is Petabit Processor. The Petabit Processor. It's quite expensive to use. You pay 4 fuel to discard an additional unused Alien Tech card for full benefits. So when you discard an Alien Tech card for its benefits, which are always pretty powerful to do when you discard the card, you can discard 2 per turn instead of the usual 1 by paying 4 fuel. Yeah, and you still get to keep this card. Or you can discard this card to remove the 3 cards on display at the Alien Tech from the game. Wow, that is pretty powerful. So yeah, I mean, you can actually remove them from the game. So if you think one of your opponents may benefit from the 3 cards on display, you may already have some of them cards, because a lot are duplicated. You can discard this card and remove the 3 on display from the game. So that's quite a good one to have. And that is inspired by Stephen Schultz. Okay. Now, here we go. We have 7 asteroid cards for Outer Belt. So, here comes in the envelopes now. So, so first of all, before we show what these cards do, I think we should show in action how you get these cards. So please ignore the amateurist envelope, but it's going to work just fine. Right, so we shuffled the cards. We've got a deck left of 20 cards and 4 come out at random. And these spaces 1 to 4 here. Okay, so, and the deck then would be at the top here, the remainder of the deck. Now, on our turn, once we've rolled our ships, let's say I'm pink, let's say I've got 5 ships out, and the asteroid die. I roll. I've got my ships here. Let's say I've got no modifiers at the moment to modify these, and I've got a 2. So the asteroid belt will move. So the asteroid belt moves, so the bottom card comes off in space number 4, goes to the bottom of the asteroid deck. The asteroid belt's moving round the moon. These move down a space. The top one comes off, and that's what I'm left with for this turn. So if I wanted to get a card from here, anything with this like asteroid-y star space shape on, which is at the top, shows me what die I need to dock on these spots. So with the asteroids, with this emblem here, I could dock a 1 or a 2 value ship onto these spaces here, and then if I look at the card that's on this space here, I actually look that it only needs 1 ship docked here to claim this card. Here's where the ships are, shows you how many. If I take this one, look, there's 2. This one's only 1, some are free. So it's 1 die needed to claim this card, and it's also, because of this emblem here, it has to be one of these. So it needs to be a 1 or a 2. Yeah. So, and these are I think accurate because these are from the print and play. These numbers. So a 1 or 2 docked there, I could claim this card. Yeah. So it's there. I do have a 1, I do have a 2. So if I put my 2 here, now here also there's dock covers for these positions if you're playing shorter games. So not every card, say there's a card that needs 3 die here and you're not playing a full player game, this cover could be covered or would be covered. There'd only be 2 positions here to place dice, and if it required 3 for the card, that card would be unavailable for this turn until they cycled down. Okay, so I put a 2 here, I can now claim that card. So I've claimed that card, and this one is cargo salvage. So let's have a look at this. It has the timer icon on it, so it will be tapped unless I control the Blish expanse off the moon, remember. So let's assume I don't. It will be tapped this turn, and on beginning of my next turn I could use this card, and I discard this card, then roll the asteroid die, and if I roll an asteroid, which is numbers 1 to 4, I take free fuel. So let's roll it. It is, I will get free fuel. But if I'd have rolled a 5 or 6, which is blank on the asteroid die that will come without a belt, I get an ore instead. So quite neat, quite a neat card. Yeah, and that's discarded. It's discarded, it's a one-time use, but it only costs 1 die to get it in the first place, 1 ship. So there we go, that's that. Let's say I claimed this one here. Okay, this one, the ship's lifeboat. It needs 1 die of what's at the top. So in this case a 2, 3 or 4, and I would think the question mark, I can't see this in the rules anywhere, I think the question mark means a ship of any colour, any number I should say. So I would need a 2, 3 or 4, so I've got a 2, and then a ship of any number, I'll put a 1 there. 2 ships there, I can claim this card. Again, it's got the timer, so it's tapped till the beginning of next turn unless I control the Blish expanse. And I can discard this card to receive free movements at the colonist hub. That's what that means. So you would actually go up, say I was yellow, I go up 1, 2, 3 at the colonist hub. That's a real good card, isn't it? And that's the ship's lifeboat. Okay, so let's say I claimed the Raider's dock. So the Raider's dock needs two dice, two ships I should say, of the same value shown at the top. It's in this position here now, so they can be a 3, 4 or 5, but they've got to be the same. So if I look at my dice, I do not have any two the same, but let's say I did. Let's say this was a 2. I could put 2 2s here. 2's sorry, it has to be a 3, 4 or 5. So let's say 4s. There we go. I've got 2 4s here, and so the 2 are the same in the allowable. It had to be a 3, 4 or 5. I've got 2 4s. I need 2 dice. They've got to be equal, and I can discard this card to steal off somebody, either free fuel or free ore, or a combination of them, 2 fuel and an ore, or 2 ore and a fuel, or an alien tech card or an asteroid card from one player that is docked at on the asteroid belt. So in order to steal off them, they'd have to have at least a ship docked at the asteroid belt. Okay, that's that card. So if we come down to this bottom card here, orbital debris. Again, the artwork on these asteroid cards is awesome. So this one, we look, it's got it needs 2 ships docked here. We look at the emblem at the top. It's a 5 and a 6 this time. So look over here. Let's say I had a 5 or 6. I put my 5 or 6. Often, as you know, veterans of Alien Frontiers will know, even if you did not have a 5 or 6, you would have alien tech in front of you that could, by paying costs, you could manipulate your die to get a 5 or 6. So we've got the 5 or 6. It needs two ships there from whatever it is in this space, which is now the 5 or 6. And once we got this card, we can discard this card, then roll the asteroid die. And if we roll an asteroid, which is for the sake of a D6, which we're using instead at the moment, on a 1 to 4, we can take an ore. So I got a 1, I would get an ore. Otherwise, so if we'd have got a 5 or 6, which is the blank spaces on the asteroid die, take a random card from the alien tech discards. So from the alien tech discard pile, we could either shuffle them and take one, or just take one out the deck from the discards. So that's pretty cool as well. Now, on the beginning of your turn, if you roll a 5 or 6, the asteroid belt doesn't move. If you roll a 1 to 4, which is on the die that will come with the game, an asteroid, the belt will move. So the bottom card would come off, go to the underneath the top of the underneath the top deck. These slide down, and one comes on. But interestingly, let's say on a turn 2 cards were taken. So let's say this card was taken and this card was taken. And we'll track these with a couple of grey colony tokens. Because what the rules say are, you treat those spaces, the taken cards, as though they are still there, but they hold that space. So let's say the asteroid belt moves again now. This card moves from the bottom up to the top as usual and cycles around the moon. This non-existent card will come to the bottom. This card will move down. This non-existent card would move to here, and a new card would now move to the top. So that's the situation we're left with. Yeah. If no cards were taken the next round, and the asteroid belt moves again when the player rolls the die, then the non-existent card would move, say, under the deck thematically, but it doesn't because it's not there, is it? This moves down, non-existent card here, this moves down, and there we go, we're back up to 3 cards. So that is how that works. So I've just looked through the cards, and there's 3 cards we haven't come across yet. So let's just say they're on here. Let's move these off. Let's say they cycled through and they're at the top. They're the cards we've seen, them 4. So let's say we got these 3 here. So the top one, Message Boy. It needs 2 cards, the same as what's shown in the top, on the top die. And we can put 2 dice there, sorry, so 2 ships. We need a 1 or a 2. So let's say we put a 1 and a 2, ships of value 1 and 2 here. We get to take this card, which is the Message Boy. And this is discard this card, then deal an extra agenda card to each player. So everyone's a winner on this one. Every player gets a new agenda card. Okay, from the factions deck. Brilliant. So that's that card. This one here, it's 2 cards, two ships the same as what's shown here. So a 3, 4 or 5. So let's assume we've done that. There's a 5, a 4, and let's say another 5. They're any of those. It doesn't have to be a 3, 4 or 5. It could be any of a combination of those. So we'll put the 3 there. We take the cometary fragment. Sorry, and it only needed 2 ships. I overlooked that. It only needed 2 ships. So let's say we put the 4 or 5 there. They're allowable in this part of the belt. We take this one, the cometary fragment. Again, great artwork. Discard this card, then roll the Asteroid die. So let's do that. Remember, we're pretending that 5 and 6 is blank. We've rolled a blank. Okay. On an asteroid, you take 1 fuel, but fortunately for us this time, otherwise, which would be the blank side, which we've just rolled, you get 4 fuel. So we were lucky there, we got 4 fuel. So they're quite fun, these. And you discard the card. This final card here, Hyperspace Pilot, it's different. It requires a 6 and then a die that's shown in the top of the stack, so of the docks. So there, as luck would have it, it shows a 5 or a 6 that we need here. So we could put a 5 or 6 down here, or 2 6s, yeah, to claim this card. The Hyperspace Pilot, pay 1 fuel to change 1 unplaced ship to a 5 or 6, and this may be used once per turn. So you can keep this card and use it turn after turn. And that is, I hope everybody followed that all right, with the old envelopes there for showing the outer belt. It looks a lot of fun. It's expanding the Alien Frontiers universe perfectly. I know that it was in production, I think, for a couple of years, the outer belt. And that is all the explanation of Alien Frontiers Expansion Pack 6. Thanks for watching.